169 days in the NICU, and the hardest part wasn't any of it. It was the day we came home. They celebrate NICU graduation like it's the finish line. The discharge papers, the car seat test, the you made a smile from the nurses who watch your baby for months. But nobody tells you that when you walk through your front door with a suction machine, a pulse ox, and a feeding pump, that wasn't the finish line. That was the starting blocks of a marathon nobody gave you a map for. I'm Yadi. My son Aydin, he came home with a tracheostomy and 24-hour nursing care. I'm not a doctor. I'm a mom who learned survival in real time. And this is everything they don't tell you about what comes after your NICU graduation. You don't time your life by the sun anymore. You time it by pumping sessions and nurse shifts. The pulse ox becomes like a soundtrack of your house. And your ears, they never turn off. Even when the monitor is silent, even when a nurse is on shift and you're supposed to be sleeping, your brain is always listening. Every moment of silence is suspicious. Nobody warned me about alarm fatigue. Not the kind the nurses get. The opposite. The kind where your nervous system is so wired to the monitors that you can't sleep through the night, even when everything is fine. It's almost like you're expecting the other shoe to drop. Here's what I learned. That's not anxiety. That is your system adapting to protect your child. It's not a disorder. It's survival programming. Full stop. Nobody prepares you for this. You go from being your child's mother to being a shift manager in your own home. You're coordinating nurses. You're training people on your child's equipment. People that you're expecting to know beyond what you know. You're deciding who gets to touch your baby because any little thing can become a huge thing for their immune system. And here's the part that nobody tells you in the NICU. Not every nurse is a good fit. We had nurses that overmedicated Aydin, literally gave him heart medication 5 times the amount that he was supposed to have gotten. And because we were so tired and overwhelmed and didn't know that we could fire our nurses at home as well, we actually just stopped his medication for 2 days in order for his body to adjust to his normal baseline. You have to get comfortable with firing people from your child's care. We had to learn that the hard way. That's not something they teach you in discharge class. This is the clarity method in action. The T is trust your gut. The Y is you are the CEO of your child's care. Not the nursing agency, not the pediatrician, not their specialist. You are the CEO of your child's care. Trust your gut over every piece of equipment, over every nurse note, over every reassuring voice. Trust your gut. If something feels off with how a nurse handles your child, you don't need proof. You need them gone, period, before something actually escalates. Aydin was in the NICU for 169 days. When we finally walked out, I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, I felt terror. Because in the NICU, there was always a monitor, always a nurse 10 feet away, always a code team down the hall. At home, it's just you and your spouse. It's the nurses that are literally getting to know your child. And the silence between the alarms. I had to learn, really learn, that the NICU might end, but advocacy never does. The same voice I used to fight for Aydin in the hospital, I needed it at home. And actually with more urgency, because there's no system. With the nursing agency, with the equipment supplier, with the insurance company that didn't want to cover certain medical equipment. Here's what I want every single NICU mom to hear. Missing the NICU doesn't mean you're failing at home. Missing the safety net doesn't make you ungrateful for discharge. It makes you human. There's a burnout. It's not the exhaustion of feeding schedules. It's the exhaustion of never being just mom or just dad. It's the exhaustion of always being on. You can never let your mind just wander and relax. You're a respiratory therapist, a case manager, an insurance specialist, a nurse, a therapist, physical therapist, occupational therapist, feeding therapist. Suddenly you become the world to one person who can't do for themselves. You become a supply chain coordinator. And somewhere underneath all of that, you're supposed to find yourself. You don't get to just hold your baby. You hold your baby while you're monitoring their stats, while watching for retractions, while calculating how many hours until their next neb treatment. That's not a choice, unfortunately. It's your nervous system hitting a wall so you don't shatter. But it's also not sustainable. Here's what helped me. I stopped trying to be liked and started making sure my child stayed alive. When the nursing agency pushed back on nursing hours, we stopped being polite. When the DME company sent us the wrong supplies, we stopped saying no worries, and I became the woman they didn't want to see on their caller ID. And you know what? We got what we needed. You are the CEO of your child's care. Every single time, 24/7. I put everything I learned into the Clarity Method, the empowered guide to medical advocacy. It isn't just for fertility patients. It's for medical moms too. The T and the Y, those were born in the NICU. Those are Aydin's legacy. Comment clarity below if you are currently in the trenches or if you're in the NICU. I see you and I'm here for you. If you've been home for 3 days, if you've been home for 3 months and still flinch at every beep, I see you. It's been 4 years for us since we left the NICU, and we still have PTSD every time we hear the alarms. It's okay. You are not alone. If you miss the nurses from the NICU and feel guilty about it, that's okay. I see you. I'm here with you. I get you. The NICU might end, but the advocacy never does. And you became something in there. You didn't just survive. Like Priyanka Chopra Jonas said, you became a tigress.